Aldean.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, you've been the subject of a couple of conversations lately, mostly because Eddie saw you in Chuck E. Cheese. And he was like, I didn't think Jason would be in Chuck E. Cheese, but you were.
Yeah. Well, when the kids are screaming in the back seat, when you pass by and they're like screaming, telling you to pull over, sometimes you just got to make a pit stop. You know what I mean?
So is Chuck E. Cheese a pit stop place, or is Chuck E. Cheese a destination for a Saturday?
I don't know. I think it's just kind of like something we do for them every now and then, like just to, get them out and have fun. I mean, there's some different stuff we do. We take them to the trampoline park, the zoo, sometimes Chuck E. Cheese, whatever it is, just to kind of get them out and have some fun.
Do you feel like in places like that, people are just confused, where they're like, that probably is Jason Aldean, but there's no way he would be at the trampoline park?
I don't know, man.
Even Eddie was confused.
I was.
And we were like, Eddie, you know him.
I'd asked my wife, I'm like, help me out here. Is that Jason Aldean? Because I'm pretty sure it is. She's like, yeah.
We got kids. We got to do kid stuff with them.
When you walk into a place and you buy tokens or you give somebody a credit card normally, I just wonder what it's like being like a real life celebrity, where does your credit card have your name on it? Or is it like a...
Yeah, but, my last name is actually not... Aldean's my middle name.
But Jason's on there.
Yeah, Jason's on there.
Is Aldean, is your middle name on there as part of that?
No.
And do they go, Jason, dang, that looks like... Because I would just think you have such a dynamic stage look. And then you're kind of one of us when you're not on stage, except for that really expensive watch. Other than that, you're like us right now. You're just a dude. I would think people would just be confused. Like, I think but I'm not sure.
I think because I look a little different than I do on stage. Typically if I'm not on stage, I got a baseball cap on or whatever. So I think a lot of times people kind of do a little bit of a double take. But I think my wife is one that kind of, a lot of times they'll look at me and then I think that's him. And then they'll look at Britt and go, well, that's definitely her. So that's who that is, and it's, I think she kind of blows my cover a little bit.
That happens now with Caitlin, because I'm such a generic white dude. Except for the glasses, you don't get any more generic than me. And they're like, oh, the guy that's really dorky who shouldn't have a wife that's that pretty, and that's her. Like,
same.
They're like, that's the association. Yeah. And then they're like, oh yeah. So hey, congrats, another album, but this is a double album situation. So why put out so much music basically in the same period?
Man, you know what? For me, this being the 10th studio album, we just kind of wanted to do something different that we haven't done before. And, for the previous 9 albums, I feel like we've kind of covered a lot of the bases, So it was trying to find something that we haven't done. And for me, that was a double album, a live album, or greatest hits. We'd never done any of those things. So to me, being the 10th album, we just kind of want to do something different. And we figured that was kind of a way to sort of combine all those things. And anymore, the way people, fans consume music, it's, they want more music more often anymore. Used to, we put an album out and you drop another album a year and a half later. And now it's just like you drop an album, they're ready for something new in a few months. And so we decided to kind of stagger it out, drop part of it a few months ago and then wait and drop the other half now. And just to kind of help extend the life of the album.
The backside of the Georgia track list is live. You mentioned that. I was going to get to that. And I want to play one of the live tracks in its entirety in just a second. But after you record it live, do you go back and go, man, I did that live? Dang, wish I wouldn't have done that. Or do you go, man, that's perfect, and just let it roll?
Well, we didn't record these for the record. These were just things that, we record basically all of our shows. So it was a thing of, once we decided to do this, we went back and just found some live tracks that we wanted to make, that we wanted to put on the album. And so it wasn't recorded with the intention of being on the record. It was just kind of like, this is the way it went down, and this is what you're going to get. So
I think I'd go back in and re-sing them, though, with everything live. With everything else live, I'd like, peel me off. Let me do this again in the studio.
No.
But that's why you're you, and that's why.
Of it. I think that's the beauty of it. People that maybe haven't been to a show, it's like, they're getting a real performance of what a real show's like.
Well, what people don't know is this is actually a re-recorded version of me doing this interview with you. I came back in afterward and then layered me over it so it sounded perfect.
Well, actually, it's not that far off.
Okay. You and Carrie put out If I Didn't Love You, and you hear the song, and you're like, oh, cool, good song, gonna be a number one. But it is such a smash and is now up for every award. Was that the expectation when you guys got together to do the song? Is that ever an expectation?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that you can ever kind of predict what a song's going to do. But, I think with this song, when I heard it, it was written by a couple of guys in my band, and then a new artist that we're working with named John Morgan. And so when I heard it and decided to get her on it, or try to get her on it, I felt like if we could get her on it, the song was already good. That would just kind of be the cherry on top. And so, but again, I mean, you don't know until you get in the studio. You start to see like how it all kind of meshes together. And I think once she started singing on it, we knew there was something pretty special about it. But again, I mean, you don't know until it gets out and people are listening to it, and you just never know what those songs are going to be, really. You may think you got a big hit that's not, or in some cases with me, that was something I thought was just okay that turned out to be a huge hit. So, but yeah, this was a huge one. I think I got a text message from one of my reps the other day saying I think it had been in the top 10 for like 26 weeks or something, which is crazy. I've never had a song do that, so it's been a big one.
Yeah, and any award show that comes out now is like, and nominated for 72 awards, Jason Carey. And so, yeah, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
So indulge me for a second, because you bring up something interesting. Of all of the hits that you've had, which one, I'm going to do both, which one did you hear or record and go, yeah, this one's going to be massive, and it was? And which one did you go, you want that as a single? I don't know if it's going to work, and then it was, and it did?
Well, the one that I thought would be a big hit, I mean, we've had a couple. This was one of them, though. The duet was one that I really felt like was going to be something special. So the one that I thought was kind of a head scratcher to me, that I was like, really, we're going to go with that? And this was kind of early in my career where, I was still kind of getting my legs under me as far as like, what songs I was putting out. And a lot of times I would let a lot of the outside influence kind of help pick those singles. And it was Big Green Tractor was one that I just thought, man, this is kind of corny and cheesy. It's not typically what I would do. But my producer kept saying, man, I'm telling you, this is big. David Lee Murphy was one of the writers on it. And so I was just kind of like, all right, maybe I'm missing it. Put it out. And to this day, it's like the longest number one that I've ever had. It was number one for 4 weeks, and I've never had another song do that. So that's what I mean. Sometimes you may not think something's going to be big, but it turns out to be huge, and you just never know.
Do you play that song every night still?
Every night, Bobby.
I feel like that is every night, but I wish it wasn't every night.
For the last 15 years.
Because you got to give it to the people. And what's cool is you understand that. Even though you would probably rather not, you do understand your fans are the reason that you're on that stage.
Well, I love the song. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think
but you've played it so many times.
Right. I mean, I hear these songs in my sleep, I'm telling you. But, on the other hand, it's like all those songs really were like a stepping stone for my career. They were all important at that particular point in time to kind of get us here. And so I always try to keep in mind, like when I'm going to play a show, man, maybe it's the first time these people are ever hearing this thing live, and you try to put yourself in that frame of mind. But that's the thing. If you're going to put a song out as a single and, it becomes a hit, you better really like it because you're going to play it a lot.
How do you play all 26 or maybe off by one or two number one songs in a set? I don't know how you would do that.
We don't. We and that's the thing, tricky. I'm actually in the middle of it right now is kind of putting the set list together for the new tour. And, you try to put in maybe some things that we haven't played in the last year or two, and you try to incorporate those in. And now trying to incorporate some of the things off the double album, the new album, putting those songs in too. So it gets a little tricky, and ultimately you just go in and try and put together a show you feel like is going to entertain people, and mainly the songs they want to hear, that you feel like they want to hear, and kind of go from there.
I mentioned all the number ones and all the success and awards, but I think, and if someone just was introduced to you, you are Jason Aldean, the country superstar. But I talk a lot and have written an entire book on failure and how important it is to learn. Like, if you look at your professional career and you look back at a failure that actually made you a better entertainer, a better performer, any of that, like, what was that thing that didn't work out, or you're like, man, I'm kind of glad that didn't work out because I learned from it?
I would say when I got dropped from Capitol Records early on, I got signed to Capitol Records in about 2000, I think it was. And I was on the label for a year, never even recorded one song for them, and got dropped from the label. And so that was tough, man. It was like I'd spent, that was the brass ring. That's what I was after. And to finally get that, and to not even really get a chance to prove myself before I got dropped was just, I don't know. It did a lot. It was like, it was sad, but it also like kind of pissed me off a little bit. And to me, that was the thing that made me like really want to go out and kind of prove myself. And that's why when I got my next record deal offer, it was from Broken Bow Records, which was a little independent label. Really didn't even have any superstars. I mean, Craig Morgan was over there and was having some just starting to have a couple hits. I think Cherie Austin was over there at the time and had a hit or two, but they really didn't have a whole lot going on. And so, I signed over there with no clue how that was going to work out, but at least it was somebody willing to give me an opportunity. And I think for a long time, I sort of carried that chip on my shoulder to go out and really want to prove myself. So I would say that was the main thing.
Why would you be signed? And I understand why you would get dropped if you had put out a single that didn't do well, but why would they sign you and then drop you before giving you a legitimate chance?
Well, so I signed over there. The head of the label was a guy named Pat Quigley, and so when they signed me, and so literally before I could sign my deal, the new president came in, which is Mike Duggan, who is there now, and I've since talked to Mike, and we're great. Like, I love Mike, but he came in, and I just don't really think he got it. I don't think he was a believer in what I was doing at that time, and so I think he went ahead and signed the deal, but I don't think he was ever really a believer in it, and so ultimately it just kind of fizzled out and went away.
When you came to town, though, that was a bit of a jolt to the system, and on a much smaller level, like, I understand that, because when I came here, people were like, what is this? I don't understand it. It ain't gonna. And I kind of had to beat it into submission. And here you were. You looked different. You sounded different. There was a little more of an edge. Did you get a lot of that? Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and listen to some of the stuff we were doing early on, and as edgy as I thought it was at the time, I listen to it now and I'm like, it really wasn't. But at the time it was. And so, I think there was a little bit of that. I mean, we were different than anything else that was out at the time. And so, but I think the best thing could happen to me was, like, I didn't really know the rules. Like, I didn't know there were rules. I didn't know you couldn't. I remember having earrings and that being a huge thing, earrings and a cowboy hat. And I'm like, really? I've had these since I was 17 years old. Like, it wasn't that big a deal for me. But
if you don't know the rules, you don't play by them.
Yeah, and so to me, it was just like, you just kind of went along business as usual. And I don't think we really knew at the time that what we were doing was kind of, changing the game a little bit.
With you having your own label now, Night Train Records, I would assume all of that you've learned along the way, both failures and successes, has made you a better head of a label?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think it's just experience, I mean, it's guys, I mean, with other artists that we have, just having them be prepared for things, or if something pops up, it's like, I'm sure that I've either gone through it or have witnessed it. So, it's I can talk to those guys on a level of like, okay, I've seen this before. I've been through this. This is what's going to happen. This is how you deal with it.
You're not just an executive. Like, you are, but you've done all of what they're doing. You've been through every single step of it, so you can empathize more than just sympathize.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, and I try to be, not only like kind of run the label, but also, produce those guys. And like, a guy we're working with, John Morgan, he's on this new America's Songwriter Contest show that's out right now. He's representing North Carolina. And so, having a talk with him, he's like, I don't know, this is an opportunity we have. What do you think? And sitting down and talking to him about those kind of things. And, it's just kind of been there, done that, and can at least give some insight into whatever it is they got going on.
The guy any good?
He's great. Great. I can't wait for you guys to hear him.
Have we not? It's nothing now.
He's got a song out. We released something last year just because we took him out on tour with us. It's called Coldest Beer in Town, and we just wanted to have something out on him while he was out on tour with us for people to go get. But his big launch is coming this year. So he was a writer on the Carrie duet, and he's also a writer on the new song we got, Trouble with a Heartbreak.
Wow, look at this. You're in everything. I saw you in
trying to keep up with you, man.
No,
I see you everywhere.
Hey, what'd you think about my idea? Because I know you heard it. Oh, the award show, we got to change it up because ratings going down all the time everywhere.
Yeah.
We got to do something to move people from. And don't you think if you're playing skee-ball, it's just a terrible reference, but the more you win, the random fan or listener or gets money and the pressure's on you, I'm dialed into that as part of an award show.
Right.
Don't you think people would be like, wow, Aldean's going to play skee-ball to win somebody $5,000? I'm going to watch that in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the ticket.
It is. Trust me, it is.
But I'm with you. Like, I think
We got to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, award shows are kind of, they're run the way they are, and it's
And they're
present an
running
award, a
themselves in
couple
the
of performances,
ground.
another award. It's same old kind of thing. So I'm down to like change it up and do something different. I mean, I don't know if skee ball is the answer, but I'm open to it.
How about we put all these games on a wheel? It's spin, you land on it. Then you got a skeet shoot, and every time you hit a skeet, they get money. Every time you miss, we hit you in the face with a pie. On TV, come on.
Wow.
Or you could spin a wheel, have a bunch of karaoke songs, spin a wheel, and the fan gets to come up and sing with the artist.
I've changed it. I've already changed your show. Your version. I've moved on to the next channel.
That's why you're on TV and I'm on radio, buddy.
Do you ever go? I'm not assuming you go to a karaoke place, but will you get up and sing if the situation is right and be like, yeah, I'll do a little number?
Yeah, of course. But I never sing my songs. I think that's like super corny.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you were to sing,
I feel like that's like the.
Oh, do you ever see someone sing your songs and they don't know you're there? Legit.
Yeah, I mean, I've walked into clubs before, and Broadway downtown, and there's guys in there playing our songs and stuff, and I think that's flattering. Honestly, I think that's.
Do you go up?
Cool. I'll talk to them maybe when they come off stage, but I'm not going to go jump on stage.
Just would imagine if I was singing your song and you walked in, I would urinate right there, right in that moment. I'd be like, oh no. The new album is out today. It's the second version of the album. This one is called Georgia. Obviously, your hometown and your home state are super important to you. Why has that remained such an integral part of your life?
I just think for me, I mean, that's kind of where it all started for me. That's where I learned to play music. I mean, where I'm from is, so rich in music history. The Allman Brothers, Otis Redding, Little Richard, all those guys from there. And so, it's where I learned to be a musician. I mean, when I was 16 years old, there was a guy named Ronnie Hammond that used to be part of a band called Atlanta Rhythm Section. And he had an after-hours bar. And so when I was 16, all these guys would invite me to this after-hours bar to have a jam session. And, I learned how to be a musician around all those guys. And so it was just a really important part of my career and how I learned to kind of do all this stuff. And it all kind of goes back to my hometown.
I've been thinking about it. I think your idea's pretty good now. The karaoke. Yeah, I'm into it.
Cool. We'll talk about it.
It took me about 4 minutes to just turn it. I think that's pretty good. I don't want the people to be a good singer, though.
No.
Right? It has to be somebody who...
Well, some of us in the business aren't even good singers, so it's going to work out great. Me included.
No, that's not true at all. Jason Aldean is here right now. He's got the new record. The second version, again, is out today. And when I talk about you in Brantley, I saw the picture, and you... redneck and a Rolex. Rolex on a redneck. Which way is it?
Rolex on a redneck. Yeah.
Is that a Rolex now?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up.
Come on. You can't have a song. I normally wouldn't address it. You come in.
You know who?
You wear cool stuff.
You know where this one came from, actually?
Oh, here we go. Name drop. I love the name drop.
I'm about to name drop.
Let me read it on the back. What does it say? Let me read it so we know you're not messing with this.
There
Okay,
you go.
here we go.
Is it Luke?
Can I touch it?
No, it's not Luke. Luke's too cheap.
Here we go. It says, to Jason from John F. Kennedy. Wow. No, it doesn't. I'm kidding. It doesn't
he's
say that.
dead. He's
It doesn't
been
say
dead
that.
for a
It doesn't
while.
say that. It says, Jason, Diamond. Is that Garth?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Garth got you a Rolex?
Yeah,
For
man.
what?
Bones, keep it.
Just
Don't
So
give it back.
Garth was he was playing a show down. I think it was at Ascend downtown at the amphitheater, and asked me to come out and just jump on stage with him to do a song. And so I was like, okay, it's Garth. Hell yeah, I'm in. So I went down, and then in the dressing room when I got there was this box of like a thank you card of coming out and
For
playing.
one song?
Yeah, dude. Garth is the best gift giver ever.
Well, let me say this. I'd like to say a little something here, Jason. Tomorrow night, Garth is playing a stadium show in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Razorback Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And Garth called me a few weeks ago and was like, hey, would you come and open for the show? And so now, we're opening tomorrow night for the stadium. And if there's not a Rolex, I'll be a little bit disappointed.
See? You got to hold him to it.
Except I don't have Diamond Celebration.
He's
Is Jason telling us
he
we're
might
getting
have
a
you a
Rolex?
fossil.
Is that-
A Swatch watch.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's true. You are opening on this. Like,
Oh my gosh.
They tour gifts, like different things they give their opening
gosh.
acts. What are y'all gonna get?
Now there's a really unfair expectation that Jason has given us because we're playing with Garth tomorrow.
Hey, you're welcome. If you show up and there's one in there, though.
I'm gonna end with this here. At this point in your life and career, like what makes you happy now?
I think the fact that I've gotten to a point where I can still go out, I can make records, I can still go tour, but I've gotten to a point where I don't have to be on the road for, 200, 150, 200 days a year. I can kind of like tour for 6 months, and then I get to come home and be at home with my family and hang out and kind of find that balance that I don't think I ever really found early on, or that was kind of impossible to find. When you're out early on and you're trying to get your career going, it's like you're never home. So I think the fact that I'm at a point now where I can still do all the stuff that I want to do professionally and really enjoy that stuff, but also balance it out and have time at home to kind of be a dad and husband and all those things and like make it all work together, to me is a cool place to be. That's nice for a change.
Did you think you would enjoy balance when you were younger?
I didn't know what balance was when I was younger. I had one speed and it was all out, so, and then especially once, the music thing happened and I finally had an opportunity to go out, it was like I was so scared of it going away that I just sort of like, it was kind of all or nothing for me. And so finally, I think over the last few years, I've gotten to a point of like being able to kind of sit back and go, okay, if I never had another hit tomorrow, I can still go play my shows forever. So I think it finally clicked with me of like, you're in a good spot and just, enjoy it.
The Rock and Roll Cowboy Tour, 34 cities, jasonaldean.com to get tickets. It's from July all the way to the end of October. But the reason he's here today is the new album is out. So it's there. The full release is going to do a three vinyl situation.
Yes. So after the second half drops, we're going to do
which is today?
A vinyl set. Today, yeah. Today. Sorry, I've been talking about it for weeks. But yeah, the vinyl is coming out. It's a 3 album vinyl set, and really cool. And I love the fact that people are going back and listening to vinyl these days. I think there's a limited run of those though, but it's really cool. I still love going back and listening to old vinyl records, and my dad's got a record player at his house still. I think it was the one that from when I was a kid actually, but the cracks and the pops, to me that's still the coolest way to listen to music.
Well, I'm going to end on this note here, and I was saving it for the end in case it got awkward, but I'm pretty annoyed with you. So.
Shocker.
Well, here's the situation. I just think you've had too much. You've had too much winning. The Braves, Georgia Bulldogs. It's enough. It's enough.
Well,
it's enough. I mean, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of looking at your Instagram.
It was 1 year.
Yeah, it's a little too much, too quick.
It's been 40 years since Georgia won.
Hey, come from Arkansas.
Hey,
so all I'm saying is
we waited. We had to wait for it too.
It's a little too much.
Maybe
so let's
you need
scale
a new
back
team.
the celebration.
Maybe you need.
I will never get a new team. Let's scale back the celebration. Listen, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Just killing it. I'm gonna play the new single now, but you guys stream the crap out of it. Jason, doesn't make a bad record, and we're gonna do now "Trouble with a Heartbreak" from Jason Aldean. Jason, thanks for the time, man.
Appreciate it.